Hi, I'm Nathan Jones. You know, this time of year always makes me reevaluate my last season. It's a time of season when I'm packing up my double bulls, pulling all my tree stands down, and I ask myself, did I work as hard as I really could have? It's always been a time of introspection. And did the outcome of my season reflect the effort that I put forth going into it? The hunt you're about to see today was one that my cameraman Zane and I both put forth 100% physically and yet mentally. On today's show, we're at Lane Lake Outfitters hunting with Reg Qualley. We're hunting black bear. My cameraman Zane and I got involved with a big boar that could have had a potentially deadly outcome. I'm glad you all chose to go hunting with me today. This is Martin Archery's Wild Extremes. Martin Archery's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. With your host, Nathan Jones. And also brought to you in part by these other great companies: the Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club, Grim Reaper Broadheads, Mothwing Camo, Carbon Tech Arrows.
We've had a lot of action.
And Kicking Bear One-on-One.
My God, I love this.
This segment of Martin Archery's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. A couple of the rewards of hunting Canada in the spring: $1 million sunsets and the endless displays of nature. The spring thaw and green up means that hunters by the thousands will head north across the Canadian border for the spring bear hunt. Me being one of them. A place I've hunted for the last several years and now has a very special place in my heart is a Lane Lake Outfitters in Saskatchewan. A place where I have had tons of bear encounters and lessons in bear hunting taught. Although my heart races at the sight of a big whitetail, hunting black bears sometimes provides a little different type of adrenaline. This was just one of those types of encounters. Even with all of my bear hunting experience, I don't think anything could have prepared me for what was in store on the hunt to come. By the time the black bear hunting season starts, the bears have emerged from their dens. A bear will make a den out of anything from hollow trees, brush piles, or as you see here, a cavity simply dug out of falling timber. They will use this during the winter hibernation, where a sow will either be sleeping with her yearling cubs or give birth to the new generation. When the bears emerge from their dens for the first time, there is a short period incurred where some will return back to the den a few times before finally leaving for good. Black bear can come in a variety of colors and in the spring can be quite hard to judge.
not only size-wise, but also for the quality of the coat. This bear, while at first glance looked pretty decent in the pelt division, but on closer investigation is actually rubbed and is not trophy quality. A great indicator to go by when judging the quality of a bear's coat is to look for the hair that looks like it extends from the body as opposed to laying flat. This is a great example of a good hair coat. And now on to size. This bear is what everybody's looking for. When I see a bear with wide-spaced ears, a crease down the center of his forehead, and a swagger to his gait like this guy, I never hesitate. But for now, let's go do some scouting.
Guys, right here, what we're seeing is evidence of a big bear scraping. And we actually last year videoed actually the boar I shot doing this right here. And I almost wonder if it's not something close to what a deer does as far as scraping. I'm not gonna say it's identical, but what we've seen a lot of bear do, the boars, a few of them doing this pawing or scraping on the ground. And then actually when other bear are around, these boars will actually walk trees down. And I would almost bet you money when they're walking these trees down, they're urinating on them to scent mark them. Here's something, you guys out scouting for bear around a bait site and stuff, or you're looking for an area that holds a lot of bear. Don't overlook something like this. This is definitely bear sign. Matter of fact, right in here I can see actually a pad print. And this is pretty good sized pad print. And this tells us actually the bear came in possibly from this way. All the moss is thrown behind him, hits this trail, and goes right into the bait. So, just don't rely just on a bait and sit there, because there's other opportunities. This is part of the strategy of finding and shooting great big bear, is to figure them out, figure out what they're doing, their behavior. This is some great signs. So I want to take you guys over. We found a rub tree. If these bear will actually bite this bark off to get this sap running, but we can see this hair where this bear's actually stood with his back to this tree. I've got hair up there. And this is a pretty good black bear, guys.
You're going bear hunting today, right here on Martin Archery's Wild Extremes.
You spend so much preparation for these hunts, and these hunts are not cheap. Why not check the zero on your bow? Just take a few minutes just to check it. Don't take anything for granted, because so many hunts have been ruined by not having your equipment zeroed in and ready to go.
Once I get into camp, one of the first things I do is check equipment. I go by the adage, if it can go wrong, it will. So I try to leave nothing to chance. This is something I do and suggest that you do too. It makes for a more successful outcome. With equipment checked for zero, it is now time to start running baits and looking for sign to do our first setup. The most popular way to hunt black bear is on bait. Don't want to put out too much bait so the bears can feed at any time, but just enough to get them coming in and producing competition for the offering.
A new cycle sure lifted her up, didn't it?
Usually, 1 5-gallon pail of a combination of oats, molasses, and meat scraps does the trick. Reg had given Zane and I 3 different baits to look at, but we both decided, because of the prevalent sign at this site, just to start right here. We ran back to the truck, loaded the quad with all of the gear we would need for our evening hunt, and made our second trip back in. And that's when the excitement began. I started up the hill ahead of Zane with the first load of gear to start setting up and ran right into this huge boar that was already on the bait. And this bear wasn't leaving.
We just put this bait in here. This afternoon, there's a big bear on the bait. I walked in there to hang the stands. That bear isn't leaving. He just looked at me and opened his mouth, stuck his tongue out. That's a look of aggression. He's saying this is my bait. So this could be a little wild extremes. Because he's just up there. But if I can get an arrow on him, he's a big bear. We're putting him down. We are locking and loading. Let's go get on him. Come on.
In most cases, when you have a confrontation with a bear and then back away, taking the pressure off of the situation by giving the bear some room, the bear will leave. No harm, no foul. I have hunted and have helped guide bear hunts for several years, so relying on my experiences, I never dreamed the bear would still be there when I returned with my marten slayer and Zane. When I got back to the cut line and saw that the bear hadn't left, but instead decided to turn this thing into a standoff, I realized this could be the making of a serious situation. At this angle, I had no shot. A bear has huge shoulder blades, and this was not an ethical shot to take on a black bear. Instead of running, this bear decided to become aggressive and move toward my cameraman Zane and I. I also knew if he decided to take it to the next level, at just 25 yards, he would be on us before I could get the marten slayer drawn. Marten Archery's Wild Extremes won't leave you hanging on this one. We'll be right back in a moment.
There's a big bear on the bait. I walked in there to hang the stands. That bear isn't leaving. We are locking and loading. Let's go get on him. Come on.
This segment of Marten Archery's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. When we left you, my cameraman Zane and I had just come into a bait site to get set up for an evening hunt and ran into this big boar already on the bait. Not only was this bear not leaving, he was claiming it for his own and intended on running us off. With only 25 yards separating us, I knew if he went into a full on-out charge, he would be on us before I could get my marten slayer drawn for a shot. This was serious, and in this situation we were too far in to turn around. I just hoped this bear was going to give me a shot before he got all the way in on top of it.
Oh, he's gonna try to get around us now.
And then I got lucky. This bear stopped in the only opening I had to shoot through. This bear was only 15 yards away and was still on his way in.
Boys, do you believe that? Come in to put the stands up. And this bear is on the bait. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, how about this for bear action here at Lane Lake Outfitters? That is incredible. I mean, that is a good bear. That is a, oh my God, and this bear, you talk about jacking me up, man. You guys saw him when I stepped up. He actually, when a bear is being aggressive with you, he'll actually open his mouth and stick his tongue out. And it looks like he's yawning, but he'll bow his neck up and kind of arch his back. And this bear was definitely showing signs of aggression right here. And what was happening, see, we've got the wind blowing across us. He couldn't smell us. This bear is an aggressive bear. All he was doing was circling downwind. He was going to find out what we were and then come back for us. Buddy, we put the Grim Reaper on him. Yes. That here at Lane Lake Outfitters, I mean, most these bear hunts, you know, you're on bait, you're in a tree, and it's same old. And how about this being wild extremes in your face? We're done. First day. We haven't even been in a tree here at Lane Lake Outfitters, and we are done on a great bear. Saying, give me some love. Well, guys, what do you say we go find this arrow? So I hit him here. He took off, so my arrow is done. He's out past here. Look, you guys, look what this broadhead did. Went clear through this bear, through all this trash, guys, and stuck by one blade in this log. So you guys wondering if a mechanical head will work? Yes, indeed. And these blades are sharp enough to cut you. It went through all that trash, still folds up, still locks in place. And how tough is that? But I think we're gonna find this bear. Another little tip when you guys are blood trailing, and obviously, I mean, this is an obvious blood trail when you're looking at these small trees here that this bear's walked past. But you don't always want to just look on the ground. I mean, use your eyes. Look, you know, the height this animal has, you know, where the height of your shot. Look on trees, even on the backside of foliage, you know, underneath stuff. You know, an animal can walk by, blood can run down and get on the underside of this. And sometimes we have trailed animals on our hands and knees like this, picking up leaves, sticks, turning stuff over to blood trail an animal. And just because a blood trail isn't obvious does not mean you didn't hit that animal. I mean, and it's our ethical duty when we're bow hunting to make every effort we can put into this to recover and find that animal. And that's due to nothing more than respect for that animal and respect for the sport, that this sport that I love so much, and I know all of you guys do, or you would be sitting there watching this. Guys, we got us a bear. That bear is right there, 10 yards, and he is down. Oh my God, guys. There's a Pope and Young right there. He's a heavy one. Well, hey, thanks everybody for being with us today on Wild Extremes on this fantastic black bear hunt. I have never had a bear jack me up like that. I mean, that bear coming face to face with me at 15 yards sped my heart up, and I hope you guys got as much a charge out of it as I did. And let me tell you one thing too, if anybody out there wants to bear hunt, this is the place right here at Lane Lake Outfitters. I've had so many great hunts, and I mean, here's the proof right here, another great Pope and Young animal up here with Reg Quality. It's a tremendous hunt. These people treat you like family. It's an experience you don't want to miss out on. But be with us next week, because we're coming back at you with more Wild Extremes action, totally wild, totally out there. You guys don't want to miss it. I'll see each and every one of you right here again next week.
Martin Archery's Wild Extremes has been brought to you by Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. And also in part by these other great companies: Grim Reaper Broadheads, Mosswing Camo, Carbon Tech Arrows, the Kankakee Marsh Hunt Club, and Kicking Bear One-on-One. Additional products have been provided by these companies:
Man, Charlie, buddy, we got us a monster.
This has been a Wild Serenade production.